What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Back at it again with another banger, my friends. Y'all know the vibes. Kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Nijaree Canady has set the softball world on fire. She is being called the Caitlin Clark of softball. Now, if you're not familiar, she is dominating the game in her third year. Made the move to Texas Tech after an unprecedented $1 million contract in NIL. Made the transfer from Stanford after dominating 2 years with the Cardinal. And people had a lot to say about it. It was a waste of money, crazy investment. She wouldn't find success. Texas Tech was dead as they had a losing record prior. Now, fast forward to year one here in June, and she has them in the Women's College World Series.
They made kind of waves. They went out and spent $1 million on one of the best college softball players. You don't want to say poached her from Stanford, but that was an offer. That's kind of the climate that we live in. And she is an absolute dog. She has thrown every single pitch in the College World Series for Texas Tech so far. And lo and behold, they're in the championship series right now.
Yeah, with that being said, top of the seventh, Oklahoma hits a two-run shot on Nijaree Canady.
Yep,
I believe I'm saying
Canady, yep.
Nijaree Canady. She's from Stanford. They got $1 million, recruiting.
It's crazy.
Whenever she hit the transfer portal. And now, there's always going to be people saying, oh, Texas Tech is just buying a victory. It's like, that's what college sports are.
Yeah, so-
And if women's college softball is making $1 million, I think that's good for sports.
Yeah.
That's not bad for sports, and she's lived up to it. She was the college player of the year last year. Obviously, she was highly sought after. I think there was a story about Alabama recruiting her, and maybe Coach Saban saying, how can I help? I think there was some other schools that were like trying to put everything together to get her to go there. She ends up at Texas Tech.
The NIL started, our household is very football oriented, and I said, that's great, but I played, we have two daughters who are active in sports, so we're also going to make sure the girl athletes are getting what they deserve.
After an initial investment of $1 million to the softball program in 2022, Tracy and her husband, John Sellers, Cody Campbell's partner with Double Eagle Energy Holdings, invested more than that on just one player. To say Nijaree Canady's return on investment has paid off is an understatement.
I don't think you can put a value on what she's meant to Texas Tech. When you think of the magnitude of what she brought to our program in publicity, and then to deliver, and she's delivered over and over and over.
It's definitely a team effort. She's got to have the bats behind her and the defense behind her, but she's just an incredible human being, athlete, hard worker, and it shows. She can just go out there and get a job done.
She is putting softball on the map in a big way at the college level, and people are comparing her to Caitlin Clark with her impact on and off the field. One journalist from The Athletic wrote, by now you have probably heard of the $1 million pitcher who spurned a Stanford degree to enroll at Texas Tech last summer. Nijaree Canady has the potential to propel softball into the public consciousness, Caitlin Clark-esque. Another post says the $1 million that Nijaree Canady was paid to play at Texas Tech was money well spent. The value the university will receive from the softball team's performance in the Women's College World Series and the related media coverage will probably exceed that $1 million by many multiples.
Said about the whole entire thing, and of course, like media and stuff, but I feel like that definitely added just a weight to the situation, but actually, something my dad said, I remember he messaged me one day, and I've just been trying to rely on God a lot, and I remember my dad said, like, the Lord would have given me something if he didn't think I could handle it, and if he didn't think I could just handle all the pressures. So, and honestly, and I got through it, and there were days where it honestly was very hard, just looking back and seeing what a lot of things were said, but yeah. Looking back on it now, I honestly all glory to him because I don't think I would have gone through it. But yeah, I feel like it was all worth it. There's no place I'd rather be right now than at with Texas Tech, and just being able to win the regular season and the conference tournament means everything.
It's just impressive the fact that she has thrown every pitch in the College World Series so far for Texas Tech, bro. like every pitch. And you look at it, her NIL deal is valued at $1,050.24. The average NIL deal for a Power 5 football player is $75,390. Neither side doing bad, but this is unprecedented to see a softball athlete just command this much attention and this type of financial investment from the boosters. But when can you say deliver? We're talking about a team that has not won a conference tournament title, a conference title. And she comes in year one and propels this group to the World Series? Are you kidding me? Throwing out hella Ks, throwing out hella just fire. Just straight fire, straight gas, and she hits as well, man. I believe on the year she was at 31-5, and the ERA spectacular. Not even giving up a run per game, man. Like, it is absolutely insane the level of dominance that she is enforcing right now. And for one player to come around, and it's a team effort. It's a team effort. So salute to the entire Red Raiders squad. But for one player to come in and have this type of dynamic, we've never seen a transfer in any sport have this type of impact in year one, going from bringing a team with no prestige in softball, with no really expectations, and propelling them from a losing record to not even qualifying for the tournament last season to playing for a championship in 1 year. Guys, this is insane, and we've seen the continued growth in women's sports, man. Caitlin Clark definitely did her thing, Angel Reese, to lift women's college basketball, and now Canady is doing the same exact thing for women's softball. And, Oklahoma is dominated. They knocked Oklahoma off. They're like the 4-time back-to-back champs. Like, they have ran through the gauntlet in the toughest conference. From most people would probably say the toughest conference, going through Oklahoma. And beforehand, I'll say previously, before the SEC moved this year, but going through Oklahoma, going through Texas, like going through some of the greats, and they knock off Oklahoma, who's in the SEC now, 4-time champion. And I just think that this is a shift. We're seeing this is a monumental shift in women's sports right now. This is a monumental shift in women's college athletics, period, where we're seeing serious money and serious return on investment. And this is just the start. If they're giving $1 million for softball, you see what Livy Dunn's doing in the gymnastics side of things. We see the hoopers, Flau'jae Johnson, one of the ones, Juju Watkins, that are really raking it in. And it is carried over to softball, where she is one of the most highly paid and just dominant players that we've seen in any sport, on any field, on any pitch, on any mound. Like, she is the real deal, and this is setting a precedent for future softball players that can now have the ability to set their families up for life. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But they lost game one. She made a crucial mistake. Tried to do an intentional walk. It got smacked. 2 runs got knocked in, and she took full blame for that loss, saying it was on her. But they still got some games left in this series, and it's possible that she leads them to their first ever national championship, in their first ever national championship appearance. So shout out to Nijaree Canady. She is just an incredible athlete, plays with passion, super focused, dominant performer, and she's put the work in and earned everything that she's gotten. And salute to her for just staying humble, ignoring the criticism, leaning on her family, leaning on the Lord, and powering through to show the entire world her gifts. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. This is the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast, and until next time, my people, we out.